Okay, call your dad then. He's going to call your dad and then we'll answer the question, inshallah. We'd like to answer this question, inshallah. These last two questions from the sisters. The first one, the sister said, you stated the worst thing is to dishonor your brother or your sister, like for instance in backbiting. How should one address someone who calls you a criminal when they themselves are criminals or sinners? That is sinners. Before we answer this question quickly, I'd like to say that there is a principle in enjoying the good and forbidding the evil. And I hope that the brothers, inshallah, just let me get your attention for a minute, brothers. Just let me get your attention for a minute, please, if possible. Because this is a very important principle that I think most of us, probably the vast majority of us, are not aware of. In the principle of al-amr bil-ma'ruf wal-nahy 'anil munkar, enjoining the good and forbidding the evil, it has four aspects. Enjoining in the good and forbidding the evil has four aspects. Number one, enjoining the good on yourself and forbidding the evil on yourself. Enjoining the good on others and forbidding the evil on others, from others. But at the same time, you are obligated to enjoy the good on others even though you don't enjoy the good yourself. And you are obligated to forbid the evil of others even though you don't forbid the evil on yourself. This is not hypocrisy. This is not hypocrisy. Hypocrisy in the English language is not what is hypocrisy in Islam. The scholars of Islam, like Imam Nabawiyyah, who wrote Riyadh al-Salihin, he and others say that the principle of enjoying the good and forbidding the evil is so important that if you are drinking alcohol and the person who's drinking alcohol is sitting right next to you with you, you are obligated to hold his hand from drinking the alcohol even if you were drinking it yourself. This is Islam. This is Islam. But in our minds, because we don't know this principle, we say that person is a hypocrite. How can he tell me to wear a khimar and stop wearing my ears out, which is haram? To have your ears out, sister, is haram. To have your neck showing is haram. To have your feet showing is haram. To see the size of your bones is haram. To see the color of your skin to your clothes is haram. 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 To wear perfume outside is haram. To wear lipstick outside with makeup is haram. If you know the brother smokes reefer, he is obligated to tell you you can't do that, even though he's smoking reefer. Because enjoying the good is on yourself and others, even if you're not doing it. And forbidding the evil is obligation on you, even if you're not doing it. And Allah knows best. So if the person is calling you a sinner, and you are, that's a khimar or a kufi you have to wear. At the same time, that person who's doing that, doing a crime similar or different from yours, they should abandon their own sins. But that doesn't mean that they can't tell you not to abandon yours. You understand, brothers? So if a person's not praying, or a person's not fasting in Ramadan, and you're not, if he's not praying and you're not fasting in Ramadan, he has the right to tell you to fast in Ramadan. And you don't have the right to say, you can't tell me that because you don't even pray. No, you have to tell him, you're right, Akhi, I should be fasting in Ramadan and you should pray. You don't have the right to tell him he can't tell you or she can't tell you. Because if that was the case, as Imam Nawawi said, if we had to wait for everybody to be correct before they enjoin the good and forbid the evil, sin and corruption would take over. Which of us is sinless? So we can say now, I can tell you what to do and nobody can say anything to me. There's nobody like this. This is ridiculous to think. I'm not saying the person who sent the note is ridiculous. I'm not saying the person who sent the note is ridiculous. I'm saying it's ridiculous to think that you have to be without sin to tell somebody to stop committing a sin. This is a trick from Shaitan. And the last question before we pray, when there is no firm foundation, such as male role models, how are sisters to raise and deal with their sons until Allah makes it so that there is a male figure? In other words, how should single women handle their sons? I tell you, sister, this may not sit right with you, but some sisters, I don't totally agree with brothers taking other sisters' sons out, like a big brother thing. I don't totally agree with it. I see some defects in it. I'm not saying it's totally wrong. Some of us do this. But I see some defects in sisters giving their sons to brothers to take them out. And we don't have time to discuss the defects that I personally see in it. But what I would suggest is that the Imam of the Masjid should be confronted with the situation, and that sister should strongly, after standing up at night into tahajjud and fasting and begging Allah, she should strongly consider getting or looking for marriage. I cannot understand why a sister would be turned off if she's been married 2, 3, 4 times and they went bad, or she got a raw deal or whatever, would make her not want to get married again, but still wants a male figure to look after her children or her sons. I would advise that sister to ask Allah, stand up at night and ask Allah to give her a good husband, and along with that, talk to the Imam of their respective masjid so that they can confront their Imam, so their Imam can deal with the situation of single sisters who have sons who need role models. But the ideal situation is to advantageously and zealously look for a husband. Because in reality, the brothers are not responsible for your sons. In that sense, they're not responsible for your sons. And some of them, out of the goodness of their hearts, neglect their own sons, taking care of your sons. And this is not fair. So inshallah, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give you, sister, you specifically, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give you the best of husbands in this life. Ameen. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to specifically you, sister, to give you the best husbands in this life. And we ask you, oh Allah, to give this sister who asked this question the best of husbands in this life. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.